Hi guys, welcome to Sprayhead Mondays on Antique Sprinklers. So I got in an argument the other night. Somebody was telling me that the person born in 1941 who graduated from high school in Hibbing, Minnesota, who had the most impact on American culture was a guy he referred to as Bob Dylan. I'd never heard of him. Maybe you have. It seems to disappear after he leaves Hibbing. I don't know. But I argued that it was Joseph John Walto, the man who invented the Toro 570 spray head. And he has a fascinating story. He was born in the beautiful town of Hibbing, Minnesota. They have fabulous weather year-round. And he graduated high school and then went to junior college in Hibbing and was hired by the Toro company after that, which is headquartered there in the land of 10,000 lakes. And you know, coincidental to hiring the great Joseph John Walto, Toro also bought a small company called Moist-O-Matic at about the same time, right about 1962. And Toro offered him an opportunity to head out to Riverside, California and work as an engineer in irrigation. And he jumped at that chance and went out there and spent a handful of years working on different projects. And I guess also building dune buggies and stuff like that, as I understand it. And then he returned to Minnesota and is also known as an engineer who worked on that product that Toro sells as the Dingo now. So I guess that's one of the advantages of working for a manufacturer that does more than one thing. You get to be involved in a number of different products. He has some patents on some more irrigation equipment around into the 1980s and other more of like the you know, the turf power equipment stuff, including a fertilizer spreader that was intended to be mounted on a lawnmower, which is kind of an interesting idea. And so he ultimately retired from Toro and sadly passed away in 2022. But that was after a lengthy and very productive life. So the next time you hear the song "How Does It Feel" or "Blowing in the Wind," you know, raise a toast to Hibbing's other favorite son, Joseph John Walto. So we are talking about a 570P here, and that was the 570 that held the original patent before the 570C and the Z series that came along. And it was patented, the patent was submitted in 76 and approved in 78, or granted, I guess is the better word to use. And it appears in my my Toro catalogs until around 1990, 91, somewhere in there. So I'm going to say this guy had a pretty decent life of, you know, somewhere between 10 and 15 years. It has a nice wiper seal in it compared to the other plastic spray heads that were being produced at the time. Really, it was a little ahead of its time. The other manufacturers kind of caught up in the just, you know, 3 or 4 years later in the early 1980s. And it has that same style of nozzle that Toro continues to sell today, and the variety of spray patterns too. The 570P was always a little limited in what you could get as a nozzle for it compared to some of the later versions that came out, but it was slightly ahead of its time, I'd say, when you look at the other manufacturers. Now the cool thing that we're looking here, and I'm going to change the view of the camera. So as I was saying, the cool thing about this particular one we're looking at is it is a salesman or a distributor's display sample. I got it from the good folks out at Evergreen Sprinkler Supply, and it had been at their place for probably, oh gosh, 40 years or more when I got there. I'm guessing this one dates to the very late 70s or sometime in the 1980s. And the idea was, you know, a lot of manufacturers would do this with their plastic case sprinklers. They'd go ahead and make some with a clear plastic case on it so you could see how the stuff inside works. And, you know, some of you guys tell me week after week that there's nothing different about any of these spray heads, and that's cool. But, and maybe it's not too exciting watching a spring, you know, fight a battle and lose it against water pressure as that turret inside of it rises. But I think it's really neat to be able to see the inner guts of these things. I've got some gear drives too that we'll take a look at and some other sprays in future episodes. But here you're going to get to see how the inside of a fairly modern plastic pop-up spray head works when it's in operation. So lucky you. And what else can I tell you about this? It has a 12-foot half-circle nozzle in it. It does not have the strainer with it that should be sitting under the nozzle, but that's really the only thing that's missing. And I did run it, and surprisingly, it doesn't leak. It works like any other spray head, so that makes it kind of fun too. So with that, I want us to remember the unsung hero, Joseph John Walto of Hibbing, Minnesota, who innovated a ton of products for the Toro company. And also, you know, the era, and maybe they're still doing it to some degree, where manufacturers would put out some of their product line in a clear case so you could see how the guts and everything work without taking it apart. Anyway, as always, I appreciate you paying attention to me while I rattle along about these things, and thanks for watching.